Todd Berry crowd work tour. I'm the first person he makes fun of in it. I did not hold the mic close enough to my mouth, so you cannot hear me, so they just show my reactions and him making fun of me. So I almost canceled tonight because I feel weird about telling this story. I had signed up to tell it at Narrator's storytelling show at Tiger, and then I chickened out and I told a story about when I found out that my friend had been murdered, when I finally checked Facebook birthday things, because I never checked those, and then one time I was just like, you know what, I'm going to be nice and leave a message, and then there were all these, like, we miss yous, and I was like, oh, fuck. And that storytelling experience. So I almost canceled tonight because I feel weird about telling this story. I had signed up to tell it at Narrator's storytelling show at Tiger, and then I chickened out and I told a story about when I found out that my friend had been murdered, when I finally checked Facebook birthday things, because I never checked those, and then one time I was just like, you know what, I'm going to be nice and leave a message, and then there were all these, like, we miss yous, and I was like, oh, fuck. And that storytelling experience was worse than finding out that my friend died. So, yeah. We love you! Thank you! So, I'm gonna tell this one. Again, like, it feels weird sharing this. It kind of touches on some things that other people told. It is a blackout story. I'm not, like, a big drinker, but back when I was, like, 19, I was in my first long-term relationship. He was 31 years older than me. We met in my last month of high school. Yeah, and so I was a bit of a trophy boyfriend. You know, just kind of like, we kept making plans, kept going along, just like, okay, like, I wasn't really a drinker, but he was, and there were a lot of parties that he wanted to go to, and I wasn't of drinking age, so it would always be like, we gotta try to sneak you in. And so, around Easter in Houston, there's this gay event called Bunnies on the Bayou. So it's downtown, you can see the bayou, it's right outside one of the big theaters. All these groups have different tents set up, they each have like a little theme and do their signature, like cocktail punch, lots of bunny tails, bunny ears. And so I wasn't 21 yet, wanted to get me in there. Locked up the president of Bunnies on the Bayou. He liked me because I was like a flirtatious teenager, and older men love that. If you play that game and you're just like really nice to them, and when you know they hit on you, like you like show them attention, like they're like, oh, we love you, you're great. So he just like let me in, and then also the security at the event. Most of them I knew. One of the police officers I had hooked up with when I was a teenager, and I lied about my age. And then he felt really like he thought that I was graduating high school and that I was going to go to college, and then I was still in high school, so I was like, oh, I'm not going to go to college. And then he was all like, oh, well, then let me help you find a job and all this stuff. And so then I tell him the truth, and then he did not like that. But so then there were a couple of other officers at the event that I knew, that they were just friends with my then boyfriend. So, you know, it was like, there were multiple, you know, people who, they knew I, like, shouldn't be there, but they're like, no, you're fine, we know you. So, that day, my boyfriend and I had, all we ate was soup. So I don't know if you've ever, you know, not had much in your stomach, and then you go to an event that has a lot of drinking. I swear we only had like 2 drinks, and it hit me like pretty quickly. And I'm a really friendly drunk. Like I like hug everyone. Like, you know, I try not to let myself get drunk because then I'm just like, woo. And so then time started to get a little fuzzy, and I was in line at the VIP porta potties because, yeah, I was with someone who gets the VIP ticket. You don't have to wait for, you know, all those little, general admission porta potties, you get into the shorter line of the nicer porta potties. And so I was in line with someone, whoever's in front of me was talking to me. I, to this day, have no idea who it was, but they knew something about me because they asked a question. And this is what I feel kind of weird sharing. So there was like this party trick that I used to do, like to get attention. So someone earlier tonight criticized dick pics, and as a gay man, like I have had an extensive array of nude pictures, like distributed online and shared. Like people are very thankful when they receive them. And, one thing that I can do that not everyone can is I can suck my own dick.
What? Oh my god.
And it feels weird sharing that because some people are just like, that's a thing. It is a subplot in the movie 8 Days a Week that has Kerry Russell. In case you need to know, like, there are movies and TV shows where this comes up, and there's a whole, like, subgenre of porn, go on Tumblr, it's self-stop is like a tag. But so people knew that I could do this, and so people would ask to see it. And so I would, especially like if I'm drinking and then I'm just like, sure, I don't care. It's like, I go to floating offshore pool parties, I don't care. I don't have a great body, but also, like, who cares? So, like, I would embarrass my boyfriend because it would be like at a Christmas party. He would find out that, like, someone was asking me, like, will you show us? And so then I'd be like, okay. So it's not a on your back, flip your legs up. It's just a bend over. And just if you're wondering, like, logistically, like, it's really easy to, like, quickly do it. And then, so he would get really embarrassed because I would do that. And, word kind of spreads some about things like that, just because it's kind of a unique thing. So I'm in line at this porta potty, and this guy was asking me about that, and he was like, like, will you do it or something like that? And I'm like, no, probably shouldn't. Like, we're in this, like, mostly public place or whatever. And then, like, people can be really persuasive. And I, like, in line, like, unzip my zipper. The next thing I know, I feel just like this hand on my arm. And so there was a lesbian officer who was working the event, and I just remember her saying, like, you were about to expose yourself. And I was like, oh, that's ridiculous. Even though that was something that was, like, burying me, like, if I told someone that, they'd be like, that sounds like him. Also, this is a part of myself that, like, no one in San Diego really knows about. So then it became this whole thing of that, like, this officer is going to, I don't know, arrest me, do something, and then, like, my boyfriend's, no, he didn't see me. One of the officers that we knew saw me and, like, pulled me away from her, like, we'll take care of this. And then they shooed me out and got me out of the event. My boyfriend, he's such a great person. He's not a sociopath at all. He wanted to enjoy the party, so he took me to the parking garage to where his car was and just put me in his car and left and went back to the party. And so I, like, got out my phone and I just started, like, texting and calling people. Just like, and then, like, I guess at some point he felt bad and decided, you know what, I probably shouldn't leave, like, a really drunk young person just, like, in a car, in a parking garage, in the Texas heat. So he came back and he got me to his home. I don't remember any of the rest that happened, but the next morning he had a story to tell me about how, driving home, he had to pull over because I threw up, and I threw up in his car and in his room, and he had pictures. He wanted me to know what he had to clean up because he is a great, wonderful guy. I know you're all jealous. You wish you could have dated him. And then, like, one of the things that I really think about with the experience was I didn't think of myself as having like much of an identity like in that social circle. Like he was friends with like a lot of kind of like A gays in Texas. So you know, went around to a lot of cocktail parties and everything, and I very much felt like I was Ken's boyfriend, you know, that I wasn't Steven, so I didn't think that people really, you know, thought much of me, like, or would, you know, talk about me. And then I found out that I was a nice piece of gossip because there were all these people having conflicting stories about whether, like, I whipped out my dick or not at this event, because there were different factions who were like, no, he definitely did not, and others like, no, he did. And ultimately, it came out that the lesbian officer, that she had been drinking some beer while she was on duty, and so then it was decided that that she was not credible, and then it all came out that it was okay that I did not do that. I don't know if I did. It's very possible, one way or the other. But then years later, after I had stopped dating him, I didn't really go out at all. And then I went to a friend's Halloween party, and then someone who had just moved to town came to talk to me, and I had found out that when he came to talk to me, all he knew about me that people had told him at the party was that I had a big dick and I could suck my own dick. And that's when I found out that I had a reputation.